Hi, that was just spam risk. I wish I had let it go. Um, Essentially, bipolar is seen in our culture as a kind of defect. I already said that. During your teens and your early 20s, wanting to fit in is a common experience. So we're zeroing in on teens and collegians, but it's still important. Everybody wants to fit in as best they can. They may not have a clue as to how to relate to you. Now you're not just a friend, you're a friend with a mental disorder. I hate the sound of that. The bottom line is that being bipolar complicates your social life, and it's one more reason why accepting the diagnosis is difficult. I'm going to read about Jason, but I really hope he didn't try to kill himself. It's a long time about Jason. Oh, I think we maybe have time. Jason graduated from college with a bright future in engineering. He was accepted at a position with a top notch architectural engineering firm. While he hadn't previously worked on an actual architectural site, he was convinced he was bright enough and that his coursework had adequately prepared him to handle the job. Within the first couple of months, he was the company's new shining star. Where did I leave that? I was so excited about it. He would often stay at work late into the night, plowing through pages and pages of accurate architectural plans, computing stress loads, and doing many other calculations in order to determine what kinds of materials needed to be used for the construction. Sometimes he only got 2 or 3 hours of sleep or even worked all night, but this seemed to be of little concern for him. It was much more important to Jason that he get the job done, prove his worth to his new employer. His recommendations were on the money, and the company was more than pleased with their new hire. After a while, Jason found that during team meetings, it was difficult for him to listen to others without taking a dominant role in the discussion. He was convinced his approach was superior and he couldn't easily be open to alternative strategies. He found that once he became caught up in the discussion, it was difficult for him to stop and allow others equal airtime. Some of his coworkers were getting irritated with his pushiness, though his immediate supervisor was more concerned about Jason's behavior and his apparent lack of sleep. The supervisor just happened to be familiar with bipolar disorder and he suggested Jason see a shrink. Jason thought this was ludicrous but decided to comply out of respect for his superior, because his job was important enough to him that he didn't want to convey the impression of being an uncooperative employee. Don't mind me having caffeine. Okay. The shrink seemed nice enough, and after obtaining a more extensive family history from Jason, including that an uncle was bipolar and Jason's mother was depressed, the psychiatrist informed Jason that he might possibly be experiencing the initial phase of bipolar disorder. He recommended that Jason try a mood stabilizer. Again, Jason thought this was uncalled for, but he decided to go along with the recommendation. At some level that he wasn't totally aware of, Jason also believed the psychiatrist might be right. After all, Jason might have been going through some denial, but he wasn't stupid. He had heard about bipolar and he knew his family history could be a contributing factor. To his surprise, he felt better over the next couple months. His sleep cycle smoothed out, he was less driven at work, and his relationship with his colleagues seemed to improve. Jason continued to do well, and he saw the success as evidence that the psychiatrist's notion about bipolar disorder was wait. Jason continued to do well, and he saw that his success as evidence that his psychiatrist's notion about bipolar was way off base. I don't know what's going on here. It didn't occur to him that he might be doing well because of the medication was helping. Oh, Lord, save us. After about 4 months, Jason stopped taking the medication and canceled his appointments with the shrink. He felt fine and didn't think he needed treatment. He continued to be effective at work, which provided further confirmation of his theory that the whole bipolar thing was clearly a misdiagnosis. Near the end of his first year with the company, Jason received some less than glowing feedback due to recent work that wasn't quite up to par. Mind you, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't the kind of feedback he was used to. Jason couldn't shake the negative feeling he was left with, and he gradually slid into a depressive funk. After weeks of feeling like he was slogging his way through his days, he finally sought help again with someone new. Only this time, when he discussed the depression, he decided not to mention the previous hypomanic episode or his previous course of treatment with a mood stabilizer. He didn't want the psychiatrist to jump on the bipolar bandwagon. He wanted a quick fix for his depression, and he was hoping he could leave the bipolar stuff behind. His new psychiatrist prescribed one of the more frequently used antidepressants, which having accurate information about Jason's psychiatric history. With a week's time, Jason spiked into a full manic episode. He was truly out of control at work. He was quite frightening to everyone he came in contact with and landed in a psychiatric hospital for 2 weeks. His diagnosis was bipolar 1 disorder. Much like Ashley, Jason learned the hard way that he couldn't leave it behind. Okay, what can happen is he let that first initial dealing with psychiatrist and a mood stabilizer to tell a new psychiatrist after a period of time that he was mostly depressed. That psychiatrist put him on an antidepressant, and that sent him over the moon in a totally manic episode. Remember? The really high. All right, so we're going to we're going to end it less than 10 minutes. Jason's story could apply to many people with bipolar. We found that denial plays out more frequently with bipolar disorder than with many other psychiatric issues. If you're anxious, you're usually not in denial about it. The anxiety grabs you and rigorously shakes you. You know all too well that you're being shaken. If you're struggling with trauma, you know that you're always feeling on edge. Your flashbacks are frightening, and a lot of different experiences in life seem to participate rapid emotional changes. Similarly, depression pulls you down, and you know you're being pulled down. You feel bad, sad, and unmotivated, and usually your perception of yourself is pretty low. All right, there's tomorrow would be the bipolar masquerade and a checklist. And we might get to Marcy's story. That would be Tuesday. Writing your own story. That would be Wednesday. And the last part would be Thursday. All right. So tomorrow's bipolar masquerade. I'm just going to say the pivotal things that come out of today's reading. Sleep hygiene. You've got to get it. Even if you're not mentally ill, you've got to get your sleep hygiene. As a teacher, I would go to bed at 5 o'clock to wake up at 5 o'clock so that I could do my teaching job. You can change your sleep hygiene. Like last night, I did stay up to watch the Oscars. Big mistake, because my Timothy Chalamet lost to Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Okay. So say like me, you stayed up to watch the Oscars. Okay, then hopefully you didn't work today and you could wake up where your sleep hygiene wouldn't have been messed up, but where you would want to get back on your typical schedule for your job. Okay. He probably didn't want to go to a psychiatric hospital, but he didn't give the second psychiatrist the information from before. That psychiatrist wasn't dumb or not good. He didn't have all the facts. You have to be factual. You have to keep a journal. I'm going to start keeping a gratitude journal, or else I'm going to make my journal gratitude. I don't think it can all be gratitude, because oftentimes I find something I'd like to say to somebody and I can't. So I close my mouth and I stifle my speech and I write it in my journal, because my journal can handle whatever I write. So tomorrow, Bipolar Masquerade, only 11 minutes and 12 seconds. Yay, it's an all-time record. Have a nice night. See you tomorrow.